I think everything is perfect. No audio and video issue today. Is there any audio and video issue, guys? Everything is looking nice. Yeah. Okay, guys. Right, boss. Yesterday we developed one application. We developed one application. Can we see the flow of execution of that application, guys? Yes, Spring Boot application. Spring Boot first application flow of execution. Spring application dot run method performs bootstrapping of Spring Boot application by performing multiple activities, including application context container creation by taking given class as the configuration class. By simply taking the given class as the configuration class. Got it, my dear? I want reply, boss. Come on. In Spring Boot, we have two IOC container. One is Bean Factory, other one is application context. In standalone Spring Boot application, Spring application dot run method uses the following statement to create the IOC container. This is the statement that internally uses, guys. Annotation config application context UTX is equal to new annotation config application context of given configuration class. What class, guys? The first argument of the Spring application dot run method will be taken here as the configuration class. So nothing but at the rate Spring Boot application class will act as a configuration class or not. So final conclusion is what? In the main method, Spring application dot run method is called with two arguments. First argument is main class acting as a configuration class. Second one is command line argument ARGS. Okay. If you pass any command line arguments along with execution, they become Spring Bean properties for injection. Right now we are not passing, don't worry about it. First class is main class name, which is nothing but configuration class. That Spring application dot run method internally uses this line to create the container. Okay, guys. Tell me how many arguments are there? Spring application dot run method is having two arguments. Argument one, current class nothing but Spring Boot application class as the configuration class. Argument two, string ARGS array nothing but command. Right, guys. So shall we get into the flow part? Yesterday's application as it is, guys. It is yesterday's application as it is. Numbers, everything is kept. Main class is also there as it is, guys. Come on. So shall we start understanding the flow part here one by one, line by line? Line by line, can we understand the flow part? First, number one, run the application. Super. Control goes to main method. Super. Spring application dot run method is called. Where bootstrapping of the application happened because of Spring application dot run method. Number four, takes the given main class as the configuration class. That's good. Main class as the configuration class. goes to that main class, loads that class, creates the object and makes it as Spring Bean, having class name as the default bean ID. Check it out. This is hash by na boss. This is hash by na boss. Come on. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay, guys. From my side, all is good, guys. Those are saying audio video problem. Check your side. Check your bad network bandwidth. Check your bad network bandwidth. From my side, no issues. Mujahideen, every day, why you will get? Bittu, why you will get all problems every day? One day, okay. 2 day, okay. Every day, why you get problem, Mr. Muzahir Muhammad? Every day you say that is not good, this is not good. When your things will be good, guys? Okay. Rahul Jin, from my side, no issue. All good from my side. Check your side, please. Okay, guys. Now let us good. Yeah, loads the class, creates the object. Now that's perfect. What is number 6, guys? Number 6. It reads this annotation. It reads this annotation, right? Number 7. Inside this annotation, @enable auto configuration is there. @enable auto configuration of Spring Boot application checks. Are there any special starters added to class path? Since no special starters are added, did we create yesterday's application adding special starters, guys? No. Okay, since not found, no auto configuration activities will take place. So ultimately, @enable auto configuration annotation of Spring Boot application annotation does not perform any auto configuration activity because we have not added any special starters, guys. Number 8, guys. @component scan annotation of Spring Boot application annotation scans current package. All right, now tell me, guys, current package of main class is what? com.nt and its sub packages, right, boss? Current package and sub packages to get all the class names that are annotated with the stereotype annotation like @component. In that process, it finds only how many classes, guys? In that process, it finds how many classes? Having stereotype annotation, only one class is there, right? Having stereotype annotation, only one class is there. Okay, that is number 8, boss. That is number 8. Yeah, what is number 9, guys? That is what? com.nt.sbeans dot season finder class is there. com.nt.sbeans dot season finder class is there, guys. Okay, that's good. After that, what next, boss? After that, what next, boss? I want reply. IOC container searches for. IOC container searches for. Tell me. Singleton scope Spring Beans and performs pre-instantiation. Singleton scope Spring Beans and also performs pre-instantiation. But number 9, don't forget that, guys. What number 9? IOC container searches for @bean methods in @Spring Boot application class. @bean methods in @Spring Boot application class. And found how many methods, guys? Only one method. Tell me how many methods are there? Only one. Local data, one method is there, guys. And did I mention any scope for that? No. So both are having what scope, guys? Singleton scope, right, guys? IOC container searches for singleton scope Spring Beans and performs pre-instantiation. So in this process, what happens, guys? Target class object is created. Dependent class object is created. Target class object is created by loading the class. Dependent class object is created by calling the method. Pre-instantiation of singleton scope been happened or not, guys? Super, guys. As part of pre-instantiation, the singleton scope stereotype annotation classes will be instantiated. Okay, season finder class object is created automatically. At the rate bean methods of configuration class will be called automatically. Okay, guys. Next one. Number 11. The component scan annotation activates code related to at the rate auto-void annotation to search and get all the has a properties where at the rate auto-void annotation is applied. In this process, it finds in how many places, guys? It finds at the rate auto-void. It finds at the rate auto-void in how many places, guys? It finds in at the rate auto-void in how many places, my dear? In this process, only one place, guys. In the target class. In the target class, it finds, guys. In the target class, it finds that. Agree with me, my dear. Come on. Yeah, where it, guys? In the target class. Number 12. At the rate auto-void annotation gets has a property type local date and searches for the Spring Bean whose class name is local date. Or it goes to target class. Already we know all this stuff. Same story. It goes to target class, my dear. It gets a target class name. I mean to say has a property type and name. Okay, by seeing the name, it will search. Is there any Spring Bean whose class name is? Is there any Spring Bean whose class name is local date? Yes, there. Okay, so makes the IOC container to inject local date class object to season finder class object has a property. Season finder class object has a property date. This is nothing but field injection or not? This is definitely nothing but field injection or not? I want reply, boss. This is nothing but field injection or not? I want reply, boss. Number 12, dependency injection, guys. Tell me what happened. For future utilization, all singleton scope Spring Bean class objects will be kept in internal cache of the IOC container or not? Will be placed in the internal cache of the IOC container or not? In the internal cache of the IOC container. Clear, my dear? SF season finder class object, DT local date object, main class object, guys. Bean IDs as the keys, bean class objects as the values. All are same as our first story, na boss. All this started with the Spring application dot run method call. Don't forget that. All these started with the Spring application dot run method call. That's why run method execution completed, it returns the object. Number 14. Number 15, ctx dot get bean sf is called. It will go to internal cache and searches. Is there any Spring Bean whose bean ID is SF? Yes, there. It will get access to target Spring Bean class object reference, that is 17. 18, I am calling business method on the target Spring Bean class object reference. So in that process, it goes to business method of the target class, that is 19. It has executed the logic. Somehow current season will execute. What is the current season, guys? Current season, according to our application, current season is rainy season, right? We are in that. Current season is rainy season, guys. So that 20 will execute, guys. Come on, next. Yeah. That season is stored into the variable, result variable. We are displaying result variable 22. 23, we are closing container, guys. In this process, all Spring Bean class objects will be vanished or not. In this process, all Spring Bean class objects will be vanished or not. I want reply, boss. Okay, lastly, end of the main method. End of the main method, end of the application. Application will be terminated. Application execution will be terminated. Anything great, guys? Earlier we used to give @configuration, @component scan separately. This time we are just placing Spring Boot application annotation. Remaining all aspects are same now, boss? Remaining all other aspects are same. What do you say, guys? Any rocket science? If you know Spring flow of execution, I think you understanding Spring Boot application flow is cakewalk or not? Understanding Spring Boot application execution is definitely cakewalk or not? Come on, guys, I want reply. Yeah, let's see, guys. What's the difference between Spring and Spring Boot? One side Spring, another side Spring Boot, guys. Okay. It is also called as Java EE framework or application framework. It is just called Spring Boot framework, guys. Okay. Scope is not singleton. They will not be kept anywhere. Every time when you ask object, new object will be created. Dirty fellow. Already we discussed about the scopes now. Mr. Chicky, why are you asking such bad question now? If there is no singleton scope for the Spring Bean object, where it will be kept? It will not be kept anywhere. Every time new object is created, whenever need is there. Chicky, we discussed this point, right? New object will be created on demand basis. On demand basis. What happens if we annotated @lazy true on the top of configuration class? Still configuration class object will be created, irrespective of whether it is lazy or not. Why? Because the moment configuration class is passed, irrespective of whether you enable lazy or not, configuration class object will be created. Configuration class object will be created. Though lazy is there also, it will be created. Why? Because configuration class object will be created before pre-instantiation process. Don't forget that. It's nowhere related to pre-instantiation. You pass it the configuration class, it will be loaded and created object. If that object is not ready, not created well before, it cannot call at the rate bean methods on that object. It cannot call at the rate bean method as part of pre-instantiation, right guys? That's why. Configuration class object will be created the moment IOC container recognizes the given configuration class. Clear, boss? Provides abstraction on Java JWE technologies and simplifies their application development. Spring Framework provides abstraction on Spring Framework and simplifies Spring application development. Abstraction on technologies, abstraction on framework, Spring Framework. Avoids boilerplate code related to Java JWE technologies. It avoids the boilerplate related to Java JWE technology, but still some more boilerplate keys will be remaining. Avoids Spring Framework related boilerplate code. What is boilerplate code, guys? The code that repeats across the multiple application, either with no changes or with minor changes. Either with no changes or with minor changes, is called boilerplate code. The main feature of Spring Framework is dependency management. Both dependency lookup and injection, guys. That's the main feature. Assigning one class object with another object is the main feature, boss. The main feature of Spring Boot framework is auto configuration. The main feature of Spring Boot framework is what, guys? Auto configuration, guys. What do you mean by auto configuration? Based on the starters that are added, special jar file that are added to class path. Okay, so many common operations will take place, guys, including dependency management, giving embedded servers, embedded database software. Many things will happen automatically. Self-intelligent, guys. Yes, you are right. Self-intelligent. Spring Boot framework is self-intelligent. Spring Boot framework is self-intelligent. Supports XML-driven configuration to provide inputs or configurations to IOC container. What is this, guys? Supports XML-driven configuration to provide inputs and configuration to. Does not support XML-driven configuration directly. Spring Boot avoids or minimizes XML-driven configuration. Spring Boot avoids or minimizes XML-driven configuration. Convinced, boss? Got the clarity, my dear? I want reply. Everyone, if you want to use certain feature of Spring for which annotations are not there, like method replacer, bean aliasing, inner beans, tiles, bean inheritance, collection merging, etc. We need to link Spring Bean configuration file to @Spring Boot application class using @import resource annotation. @import resource annotation, right? Okay, guys, tell me. Allows to develop application using three types of configuration. A, XML driven configuration. B, XML plus annotation driven configuration. Lastly, 100% code driven configuration, right? XML driven, XML plus annotation. Lastly, what is this? 100% code driven Java config approach. That's good. Supports only one style of configuration, that is through annotation directly. Giving auto configuration inputs through application.properties or YML. Can add special configuration using XML file through import resource. At a maximum, we try to work with Java code plus annotation. Only special convert situation only we go for what? XML, guys. Programmer creates IOC container explicitly. Here IOC container is created manually except in MVC application, remaining all application. IOC container will be created manually, guys. Vikram and others. All is well from my side. Check your side. All is well. Please check your mobile data. Don't start attending classes using mobile data. Look at my network speed. 74, 78 is there. No question of getting problem. So stop doing those dances. Sometimes truck means you are having issue. Your net is having issue. Okay. Why they are doing that? Why? Because they don't have proper infrastructure to attend online classes. That's why. Okay. Programmer does not create IOC container. Rather gets by calling Spring application.run method according to the application type. Listen. In Spring Boot application, are we going to create? In Spring Boot application, are we going to create IOC container, guys? No. We are calling Spring application.run method. Application type is nothing but what, guys? If application is a standalone application, one kind of container. If application is what? If application is what? Web application, some kind of container will come. That's the meaning of that. Does not give embedded server. Okay. To run the Spring-based web application, we need to arrange servers explicitly, right? Programmer creates IOC container explicitly. Programmer does not create IOC container. Rather, he gets by calling Spring application dot run according to the application type, right? Super guys. Next one. Does not give embedded server, so we have to run. Gives Tomcat, Jetty, etc. servers as embedded server in web application. Allows to work with both embedded and external servers, guys. Allows to work with both embedded and external servers, right? Super, guys. Tell me next one. Yeah, does not give any in-memory database, guys. We need to go for external databases. Gives embedded or in-memory databases like H2, HSQL, only this. Supports both embedded and external database software. Okay, Shiva, we just started Spring Boot now. One day we will use applications using embedded databases. You don't have common sense, Shiva. Shiva, this fellow is asking me how to connect it to embedded databases. And we just started today, Ra Babu. 2 days back, we started in Spring Boot, right? And this fellow is asking me how to connect. You started learning core Java. First day, from faculty said, okay, Java is multi-thread based. Java is object-oriented programming language. You worried about? You will ask about how to create thread first day itself. Tell me, boss, will you dare to ask how to create thread in first day itself? Do you have a courage to ask such question in the core Java first session? Then why are you doing dances here? Your meaning is important. Its practical is important on the initial classes. Without having that much common sense, you completed engineering. Muddy fellows. I don't know, Ra, why you taken birth and came to earth. I really doubt purpose of visiting this. I said comparison. This is comparison, right? So you have to take the essence of that word, not the connectivity. When time comes, when the topic comes, we practically do that. All these questions comes into picture. Lack of focus, nothing else. The server that is installed by programmers manually is called what? External server. Glassfish, Tomcat, Wi-Fi. Okay, no, Tomcat is popular as embedded and external server. Embedded server is nothing but in-memory server, guys. Embedded server is nothing but in-memory server. External server, Tomcat is popular. Embedded server, Tomcat is popular. When you run the Spring Boot application, along with the application only, Tomcat server comes. That server is called embedded server. When you run the Spring Boot application, along with the application only, database software is created, guys. That is called embedded database software. You need not to install separately, boss. Supports good amount of loose coupling using Spring Bean configuration file. Changing from one dependent bean to another dependent bean for target Spring Bean, easy process or difficult process? Easy process or difficult process? Changing from one Spring Bean to another Spring Bean. Yeah. The support of XML file changing from one dependent to another dependent is possible, and loose coupling also we can achieve. Loose coupling also we can achieve, right, guys? Supports good amount of loose coupling using Spring Bean configuration file. Loose coupling is bit less, guys, because all configuration takes place through annotation, which is Java code. To get perfect loose coupling here, we need to work with what? XML file support. We need to work with what, guys? XML file support. Are you getting my point, my dear? I want reply. Super, guys. Next one. We need to add dependencies manually and directly. We need to add dependencies manually and directly using Maven Gradle. We can get dependent jar file when we add the main jar file. Still, we need to add relevant jar files explicitly. No starters support, no starters support, right? Super, guys. Spring Boot gives starters kind of dependencies which provides main jar file, dependent jar file, and relevant jar file. Is it not interesting, Babu? Here starters support is there. Here starters support. Here no starters. Here starters are there. Support to starters. Support to starters. Starters are special jar files. You know that, right? Supports the starters, guys. Super. Suitable for new projects development, to enhance existing projects, and to migrate project from one version to another version of Spring. Another version of Spring supports both brownfield and greenfield project development. Supports both brownfield and greenfield project, guys. Supports both brownfield and greenfield project development. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? Come on. Not suitable for migration of projects. Not suitable for migration, and not also suitable to convert Spring Boot projects, Spring projects to Spring Boot projects, but very much suitable for new projects development from scratch level. That means supports only greenfield project development. Spring Boot is very good for greenfield project development, na boss. Brownfield means enhancing the existing projects. Greenfield means developing the projects from the scratch level, new projects, guys. Super. Bit lightweight compared to Spring Boot because no auto configuration support. Lightweight in terms of memory utilization and CPU time consumption. Memory utilization and CPU time consumption. Okay, guys. Nike migrating Struts to Spring is very difficult process, boss. You can migrate any project, you can migrate, but how easily you are migrating, that matters. Migrating Struts to Spring is equal to creating a new project from scratch level. Okay, guys. It's possible, but it's equal to creating a new project in Spring, guys. Bit heavyweight compared to Spring. Because of auto configuration, many unnecessary objects will be created. Even unnecessarily jars may add, guys. Spring Boot starter JDBC gives following objects: Hikari JDBC template, named parameter template, data source transaction management comes through auto configuration. Tell me, guys. Tell me, guys. I'm going to use all these objects that are coming through auto configuration. At max, we use 1, 2 objects. Remaining all other objects will be wasted or not. The remaining all other objects will be wasted or not, guys. At max, we use 1, 2 objects. Remaining all other objects will be simply wasted or not. I want reply, boss. Nice. Spring Framework is suitable for developing standalone application, small and medium scale web application. We generally prefer Spring Framework for standalone application and small and medium scale web applications. Okay, guys. Where all relevant objects will be placed. If they are singleton scope, internal cache. Chiki, try to have subject completely wrap up. Relevant objects will be placed where? Internal cache, because their scope is singleton. If most of the predefined classes are becoming Spring Bean without having any scope. No scope means what is the default scope? Singleton scope. So they will be placed, their objects will be where, guys? Internal cache. I'm telling to everyone, Chiki and others, you are asking question. When I give reply, you are not saying yes or no, sir. You have that much response, attitude problems. How I will know whether you got my point or not? You want me to explain the same point again and again? Chiki, don't have that much common sense to respond. Okay, guys. Spring Boot is good to develop large scale web application, distributed application, and microservice architecture based application. What architecture, guys? Microservice architecture based application. What microservice architecture says? Don't develop all services together in one project. Develop different services in different projects and make them interacting with each other. Make them interacting with each other, right? Make them interacting with each other. Are you getting my point? Super. Okay, next one. No exclusive support for microservice architecture based application development. Exclusive support is there for microservice architecture application development while working with Spring Boot. Super. No built-in property file support. Every property file must be configured explicitly. Use built-in property file called application.properties with implicit configuration. Tell me, guys, whenever I create Spring Boot project, application.property file will come automatically. It will be recognized automatically. Do I need to configure application.property file separately, guys? Do I need to configure application.property file separately, guys? Yes, boss. Tell me next one. No support for YML files. Gives great support for YML. And YML files are alternate to property file. In right time, I'll introduce, guys. I'll at right time, I'll introduce YML. Don't worry. We cannot inject the entries of property file or YML file to Spring Bean properties through bulk injection process. That means we need to go for one-to-one injection using @value annotation. Okay, if you want extra property file, you have to configure explicitly in Spring Boot application using @property source. Extra property file in Spring Boot application, you can configure by using a property source annotation explicitly. Okay, that is not issue, guys. Look at the R point. I have 10 values in property file. I want to inject to 10 Spring Bean properties. Can we do with a single annotation? No. How many times I should use value annotation? 10 times. That means here property file content to Spring Bean property content is injection is going to be one-to-one injection now, boss. That injection is going to be one-to-one injection now, boss. I want reply. That injection is going to be one-to-one injection or boss. Supports bulk injection in the same environment using configuration properties annotation. Configuration properties annotation. Configuration properties annotation. Use multiple independent annotations to use in Spring programming. Everyone getting my point? Use multiple independent annotation to use in Spring programming, guys. And here bulk injection is possible through configuration properties annotation. Yeah, this annotation I have not covered. I will cover in Spring Boot application. By writing this annotation only for one time, we can inject multiple values to Spring Bean properties. Use advanced annotation which internally combines multiple related annotations. Spring Boot application is combination of 3 annotations. Yes. Gives less productivity, gives more productivity. Convinced, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay, now let's have a look. Developer develops the Spring Boot application using Spring Boot framework. That Spring Boot framework uses Spring framework, and the Spring framework provides what? The Spring framework provides what? Abstraction on multiple Java JEE technologies. Abstraction on multiple Java JEE technologies. And all these are created based on Java language. JDBC is one technology, JND is one technology, JMS is one technology, many more. And actually, long back, we discussed all this stuff, guys. Long back, we discussed all this stuff, right? JNDI, Java, naming and directory interface, JMS, Java messaging service. JPA, Java Persistence API. Java Persistence API. We already discussed this, right? It's a specification providing rules and guidelines for multiple ORM softwares, right, guys? JPA is a common specification to create multiple ORM softwares like Hibernate, IBTs, and etc. Right, guys? JPA is a software specification that provides set of rules and guidelines. Set of rules and guidelines for the software vendor companies to create the ORM softwares. Create the ORM softwares. Okay, array old name is Java Persistence API. New name is what? Jakarta Persistence API. Jakarta Persistence API. Okay, guys. Tell me now. Okay. Now I want to talk a little about microservice architecture application. Microservice application is nothing but web service application plus plus, right? Okay. We want to give any value to static property. Do you have to use value annotation there also? Single value injection value. Bulk injection at the rate configuration properties. Clear, guys? In Spring Boot also, if you want to inject single value, value annotation. You want to inject multiple values, at the rate configuration properties. Yes, guys. Now tell me now, everyone, please focus. Microservices is extension of web services. Are you understanding my statement? Okay. Such Bishwal, I will murder you, Ra. RESTful web service is part of our syllabus. We just entered into Spring Boot. You have to wait until I enter launch what? RESTful web services, right? I don't know, boss. I don't know where you are keeping your brains. Okay, guys. Microservices extension of web services. That's the reason in this course we are learning. We are going to learn RESTful web service part of this course, guys. Okay, since I said RESTful web service application plus plus, that means there are multiple ways of developing web services. Shall we put some focus on it? Shall we put some focus on it? Okay. Web service is given to develop the distributed application, application to application interaction. Web services can be implemented how many ways, guys? Two ways, two approaches. SOAP-based web services, RESTful web services. SOAP-based web services, RESTful web services. SOAP means Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP means what? Simple Object Access Protocol. Listen carefully. JAX RPC, JAX WS are the technologies to develop what? SOAP-based web services. Apache CFX Access are the framework to develop what? SOAP-based web services. Sir, why it is legacy and almost outdated? Simple reason, guys. In application to application interaction, The data has to be exchanged between producer and consumer. All web services are interoperable. Please, Paul Gopal, all web services are interoperable. Please, don't create your own version. Please. SOAP-based web service also interoperable. RESTful web service also interoperable. But here, the global format that supports for data exchange is only XML. The global format that supports for data exchange is what? Only XML. And XML is bit heavyweight and losing its popularity or not. Here, media of communication between client and server application is what? Only XML, and which is becoming bad, which is becoming outdated. That's why SOAP-based web services are doing well or not doing well. SOAP-based web services are doing well or not doing well. Definitely not doing well, guys. They are not industry standard. They are really not industry standard. RESTful web services, popular and hot cake, guys. If anyone is developing web service, they are blindly preferring RESTful web services. REST means it is not a protocol, guys. Representational state transfer. Representational state transfer. RE means representational state transfer. It's a methodology. It's a methodology of transferring data. It's an approach of transferring data. It is not a protocol. REST is not a protocol, guys. JAX-RS is the technology to develop the web services, RESTful web services. Jersey, Spring REST, REST Easy, Spring Boot REST, RESTlet, and etc. are the framework to develop what? RESTful web services. But what is the beauty, guys? Here, media of communication between application to application, either XML or JSON. JSON is alternate to XML, which is really doing well. Here the media of communication can be XML or can be JSON. Extensible markup language. JSON means what? JavaScript object notation data. XML, JSON are the global formats. Define the global data for exchanging data between any two compatible or incompatible application. Any two compatible or incompatible application. Okay, guys. Compared to XML, the JSON format is good for data exchange. The JSON format is good for data exchange. Yes. Compared to XML, the JSON format is good for data exchange. Yes, boss. Are you getting my point? Yeah. Tell me which web services are good, guys? RESTful web services are good, right? Okay, guys. This is about web services. Microservices are built on the top of RESTful web services to develop different services modules as different projects. Later, these projects can be integrated for single project or multiple projects. Okay, I think already other day I have introduced microservice architecture, guys. I have 10 services. How many projects will be created? 10 projects. And these 10 projects will be integrated or not? Lastly, these 10 projects will be integrated or not? I want reply. Lastly, these 10 projects will be integrated. Okay, guys. Why JSON is used? Why JSON is good now, boss? YML is more simple terms than this one. And YML is also extension of JSON, right? Dirty fellow. Chicky, stop using your off knowledge in front of me. YML is also inspired from JSON only. Chicky, don't come to classes to check your knowledge. Come to classes to learn subject from me, right? Last warning, Chicky. If I see you, if you are trying to show your talent in front of me, I will definitely throw you out. I did not talk about YML. I did not talk about JSON. And you are coming to one conclusion. YML is good than JSON. YML is good than, do you know? YML is also inspired from JSON. At least do you know that point? You and your off knowledge. Bada aa gaya. Why, sir? Why JSON is good compared to XML? I already said some statement. Using XML, you want to write one student information. Using XML, I want to write one student information. SNO open 101 SNO closing. SName open Raja SName closing. Compare to data, decoration is more na boss. Open tag, closing tag, decoration is more. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Everyone? Yeah. Microservices are built on the top of RESTful web service to develop different services modules as different projects and later can be integrated for same project or different project. Are you understanding? Super. Using Spring Boot, we can develop standalone application, web application, distributed application. Enterprise application is nothing but combination of what, guys? Web application plus distributed application, right, guys? We can develop these applications, standalone web application, distributed application, either having regular architecture, nothing but different services as different modules of single project, nothing but monolithic architecture, or we can develop using Microservice architecture, nothing but different services as different projects. Array, all these projects, whatever I am talking, guys, especially these enterprise application, web application and distributed application can be developed either as monolith architecture projects or microservice architecture projects. Are you getting my point, boss? Nothing but developing different services as different projects, guys. Yeah, we can develop enterprise application either as monolith architecture applications or microservice architecture application. Look at this e-commerce application as monolithic architecture, guys. Sales module, payment module, inventory module, promotion module, all are integrated at the end, packed into single var or jar. At the end, packed into single jar or var. So overall, single project only, na boss. All together, single project only. Come on, pros 01, pros #1. E-commerce application, microservice architecture, right? Pros 1, pros 2, pros 3, pros 4. Pros 1, pros 2, pros 3, pros 4. Total, how many projects are there here, guys? 4 projects are there, right? Come on, I want reply. And all are in integration or not? All are in integration or not? With the support of third-party tools and design patterns. Okay, tell me here all together in single project. Here different services as different projects and integrated. These modules are different packages of e-commerce application. These are tightly coupled with one e-commerce application. These microservices are independent projects, so they can be used either in one e-commerce application or in multiple e-commerce application. Array payment microservice, we can use either in one e-commerce application or multiple e-commerce application because it itself is there. It itself is there as a separate project. Agree with me, guys? It itself is there as a separate project, right? Everyone, please remember e-commerce application. I hope you've seen the difference between monolith architecture and microservice architecture, guys. Super, guys. Spring Boot application is equal to 100% code-driven configuration approach plus auto configuration. What is that, guys? Auto configuration. Okay, now next one, boss. Microservices project or application is nothing but multiple RESTful services or projects. Okay. Third-party tools for integration. Third-party tools for integration and a lot of design patterns, guys. We work with a lot of design patterns. I hope you understood, guys. Spring Boot application means we develop entire thing. We develop entire thing through Java statements and annotation. Then auto configuration. Microservice means what? Multiple services has multiple projects. Multiple services has multiple projects. And a lot of third-party tools for integration and a lot of design patterns will be utilized. Okay. I think, shall we revise what we discussed in today's class? Shall we revise? Today we just understood Spring Boot application flow of execution. 95% is same as Spring. Then we have seen differences between Spring and Spring Boot. Sorry, you have given nearly 13, 14 differences. Do I need to learn all the differences? Don't learn. Try to remember best 5 or 6 differences, whatever you can. Then we discussed about what is web services, what is microservices. Is there any relation between microservice and web services, guys? Yes, there is a relationship between web service and microservices. That is, microservices are the extension of what, guys? Web services. Especially which web services? RESTful web services are SOAP-based web services. RESTful web services are SOAP-based web services. RESTful web services. What's the difference between SOAP-based web services and RESTful web services, guys? SOAP-based web services, the communication media between consumer and producer is what? The communication media between consumer and producer is what? XML. Simply and literally XML, guys. Come on. Okay, in RESTful web services, what is the option? Either XML or JSON, but we prefer JSON or not. Okay, JSON is good, XML is good, guys. Undoubtedly, JSON is good. JSON is lightweight. In JSON, we maintain the data as key value pairs, right? We maintain the data as key value pairs, no decoration. No decoration, guys. In XML, compared to data, decoration is more or not? In XML, compared to data, decoration is definitely more or not, guys? 16.8 Spring Boot core, guys. Here is this one. File upload. What's your batch code, guys? 617, right? 617. Where is this? Spring Cloud microservices. No, not that. Your batch code is 1102. I understood. Batch code is 1102. Spring Boot core. What is today's date? 29th. Today's date is 29th, my dear. Okay. Yeah. Shreya Tripathi, I know when to introduce AOP videos. Okay. Do you think you have a subject to understand AOP now? Why are you trying to show dances, Bob? Shreya madam? Why to? Okay, guys. Ashok, how much clarity we should have up to this class from the beginning aspect of practicing code? No, why are you asking percentage of clarity, boss? You should have clarity for entire Spring module. Yes, na? Why are you asking percentage in that? No common sense. Is it an exam? 10 questions will come. In that one, 5 questions I will answer. 50% by choice. Dirty fellows. And when requirement comes, you should have everything that related to requirement, right? Why are you preparing like a academic exams, boss? And once requirement comes, good or bad, small or bigger one, you have to complete the requirement, right? Don't study like that. Don't study like this. Something can be ignored. No, 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 no. You should have complete knowledge on the subject because we don't know which requirement comes from which place, right? Do you really aware which requirement comes from which section? And once a task comes, you will say you will do by choice. Then why are you behaving like LKG, UKG students? How much percentage I should be perfect, sir? Grow up, man. Grow up. When you will grow up, Babu? Not use parameterized constructor for object creation. That is your mistake, Somesh Panda. Okay. That is your mistake, Somesh Panda. We have already used parameterized constructor in constructor injection. Number one. And no, Somesh Panda, field injection happens right after object creation. Right after object creation means what? The object that is created using zero param constructor. Field injection happens right after object creation, not during object creation. Okay, guys. Nagalakshmi. Nagalakshmi has got the job. Some inspiration for you people, at least. Nagalakshmi madam, can you keep the same message in everyone mode? Okay, everyone please watch it. Sir, I am Nagalakshmi working in Infosys now. I am selected for TCS. After joining class, I cracked my interview. I got 70% hike, sir. Thank you very much. Only for Spring Core knowledge, only 70% hike means just think about if you complete the total course. Just think what happens if you complete the total course. At least now you realize what kind of subject I am giving to you people. I'm giving some videos to watch, guys. I'm going to give some videos to watch. Everyone, please wait. Okay. Common videos and docs, guys. Here is my story. Common videos and docs, guys. Come to video URLs. There is a video called Lombok API. After Spring Core, now we are applicable for interview. So only Spring Core not ready for interview, guys. Okay, only Spring Core don't give interview. Until I say Spring MVC completed, don't go for interviews. Right. Tell me. Okay, in this week you have to complete watching of these videos. In this week, you have to complete watching of these videos. Okay. You want Maven videos also? 1 minute. Maven videos already given somewhere to you people, not given. Okay. In this week, let me give Maven videos also. It old dated, but content is not updated, guys. Still same content in the Maven. So that's why don't worry about the date. Just see it. Complete end-to-end knowledge is there in these videos. Complete end-to-end knowledge is there in these videos. Thank you, guys. Have a nice time. I installed Spring Tool Suite Eclipse Marketplace, giving error message at the end. These are not licensed to review. Either software application specify license or not. Then you change the version, guys. If you are getting error with one version, change, try with other version. Try with other version. For database, if you know MySQL and SQL, should we learn MongoDB as well? You need not to learn MongoDB. I only teach.